Hello friends and welcome to Learn Easy. This is Tushar Gupta here, and in this video we'll be having the discussion on the summary of the poem of class 10th, The Frog and the Nightingale, on which I have earlier posted the recitation of the whole poem, and in this video we'll be having the summary of the poem. Fine. So this is the very first part of the summary, and let's start the summary. I'll recite the poem and then tell you the keywords and the important lines. Fine. So let's start. Once upon a time a frog croaked away in Bingle Bog. Every night from dusk to dawn he croaked on and on and on. So in these four lines, the poet Vikram Seth states that there is a frog. Once there lived a frog who was staying there in a Bingle Bog. Bingle Bog. So a bog is a marshy place, and Bingle is the name of the place where the frog was living. So the frog croaked continuously, and from every night the frog used to sit there and croak continuously from dusk, that is late evening, to early morning, that is dawn. So you could keep in mind that dawn is early morning by inverting the w, as it would almost be m, so that w would become almost m, and you could keep in mind that dawn means early morning. He croaked on and on and on. So AWN, the poet uses AWN as a replacement for the actual word on to create a rhyming scheme for the poem. So that was the thing. Now the next lines. Other creatures loathed his voice, but alas, they had no choice, and the crass cacophony blared out from the sumac tree, at whose foot the frog each night minstrelled on till morning night. So, in these lines, the poet says that other creatures, the organisms which were living around the frog in the Bingle Bog, they had been hating his voice since he was there, and the poet describes that there was none other choice rather than listening to the frog, because the creatures, they cannot move away from the bog because they have settled their whole livelihood there only. Fine. But alas, they had no choice, they could not move away from the bog. And the crass cacophony. Cacophony is a very loud and unpleasant noise which is very repetitive. Fine. So crass cacophony, that is metallic or bell type cacophony, that is very loud and unpleasant voice, that is tur tur of the frog, blared out from the sumac tree. Blared out, that is continuously came out from the sumac tree. Now we get to know that there was a tree in the Bingle Bog named as sumac tree. Fine. So this tree, we'll get to know in the poem later on that this tree was owned by the frog. At whose foot the frog each night. So the tree which under whose shade the frog used to sit was sumac tree, and every night he sat there, started singing, and till morning he sang continuously. So minstrelled, it means sang. Fine. Neither stones nor prayers nor sticks, insults or complaints or bricks, still the frog's determination to display his heart's elation. So now the poet states that nothing like stones, prayers, or sticks, and even if people insulted the frog that you do not sing very good, you are the worst singer ever. If the people, they complained him that you cannot sing like that, you cannot do like the professional singers, or even if the people, they hit him with bricks so that he could keep quiet and just keep his mouth shut, nothing did anything that to make the frog quiet and shut his mouth. What happened? It increased the frog's determination. Fine. Now the frog, he was very happy, he enjoyed that thing, because he thought that other people are jealous because they could not sing just as beautiful as him. Fine. But one night a nightingale, the next stanza, but one night a nightingale in the moonlight cold and pale, perched upon the sumac tree, casting forth her melody. So, in these lines, the poet states that there was a moonlight night. It was very cold and it was dull colored night. So there came a nightingale. A nightingale is a short colored bird, small bird it is, and its voice is very melodious. Manna, it is known as manna in Hindi, and it is really small, not too much small, but almost of 3 to 4 inches it is in size, and it is very cute looking bird. So that bird, once it came and sat upon the sumac tree. The bird came, sat on the sumac tree's branch, which was owned by the frog. So the nightingale, it sat on the sumac tree and started singing her song. So that was directed by casting forth her melody. Fine. So dumbstruck sat the gaping frog. Now the frog was too much shocked by the singing of the nightingale, that as I have told you, that nightingale is a very pleasant and a cute cute organism which sings very beautifully. So the frog, he was very jealous, he was dumbstruck, he was shocked to listen to the nightingale's voice. Now the next lines, and the whole admiring bog. Now the bog, the whole marshy place, it was admiring, it was loving this voice of the nightingale which has come just a few seconds ago. Started towards the towards the sumac, rapt. Now every creature of the bog, they just stared, they just looked at the sumac tree very uh, they looked at the sumac tree continuously and did not even blink an eye. So that was the thing, that is wrapped means very continuously and totally interested, that you do not notice anything else. And when she had ended, clapped. So now when the nightingale stopped the song for taking some rest or something like that, what happened, the creatures of the bog, they enjoyed that much that they began to clap for the nightingale and applaud her. So ducks had swum and herons waded to her as she serenaded. So now the poet describes that her voice was too melodious that it could attract ducks and herons from far off places to her, to the bog, as she was singing. So that means the nightingale's voice was too attractive that it could attract people, it could attract organisms from far off places as well. So, and a solitary loon wept beneath the summer moon. So a loon is a large water bird, white colored bird maybe, and that loon, what happened when the nightingale was singing, maybe she was singing an emotional song. So what happened, the loon, it started crying. So now we get to know about the background, that the background was, it was summertime and it was night. Fine. Toads and teals and tiddlers, captured by her voice, cheered on, enraptured. Now what happens, toads, young frogs, and teals. Teal is a small duck, and tiddlers, they are small fishes. They were captured by her voice, that the voice of the nightingale, it was too attractive, too much melodious, that the toads and teals and tiddlers, they were captured by her voice, that they were trapped by her voice. They wanted to listen to her more and more. Fine. By her voice, cheered on, they cheered for her, that yes, you are singing very good, you could sing more and more pleasant like that. Enraptured, enrapture is filling with fascination and delight. Fine. Brave ho, too divine, encore. So now this dialogue was said by toads and teals and tiddlers and all the organisms of the bog. Fine. So encore is sing some more. So just like you would have seen some concerts, you would have listened to this thing that once more, or whenever you have seen an awesome performance, you could have heard many people saying once more, once more. So encore is the word for sing once more, or do it, perform this act once again. Fine. So the nightingale once more, quite unused to such applause, sang till dawn without a pause. So what happened was that the nightingale, she sang again because the creatures of the bog, they asked her to sing again. Fine. So the nightingale, she it sang, for she was not used to such applause. She was not having that much she was not clapped for her. She was not appreciated for her songs that she had sung at other places. So this was the very first place where she had been appreciated for her singing and her melodious voice. So the poet says, sang till dawn without a pause. So the nightingale, she sang till dawn, that is early morning, without a pause, without stopping in between. So this was the summary for the Frog and the Nightingale. It was part 1, and I'll be uploading many more parts until the poem stops, and we'll be having a short summary for the poem Mirror as well. So stay tuned, and if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to it and please like this video. Thank you.